So we made it to C major, and this would typically, in most music theory classes, be the top, only because most music theory goes with the piano, and C major is what most pianos are tuned in. So that's why we're going with this Blair Witch style beginning, because I'm just going to talk real quick so we don't get this shaky camera. We're going to talk real quick about the C minor, or that's A minor and C major scale, and the rest of the modes. So for piano, it's just the white keys, and the do, re, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Simple enough. Let's bring up the fretboard and we'll look at it from a guitar standpoint.
So we're back here where the audio is better to talk about C major with the guitar rather than the piano, and we don't have the Blair Witch effect anymore. But as far as C major is concerned, you definitely have some chords that you can, definitely good basic starting grounds for guitars and pianist to go with, being that everything is natural. And G major is also a good one, but because, actually in both scales, you have the option of doing the C major, going to an A minor. That transition's pretty basic. I mean, it does take some getting used to, but once you, get used to it, it's pretty simple. Easy to go into the E minor. I hope this doesn't sound like anything, although it could sound like everything, So I guess you really wouldn't know what you were in until you went. Till you went to that D minor, because obviously if you're in G, you're gonna do a D major rather than that D minor. But yeah, no, that's a good way to even modulate, because then you could even just go back and forth. So technically I'm going between the D major and the D minor, and then you would kind of go, using those chords, you would be kind of going back and forth between C major and G major. But let's forget about that real quick. Let's just talk about C major. So let's go to the fretboard and take a look. Since we're dealing with all the whole notes, you have C major, D Dorian, E Phrygian, F Lydian, G Mixolydian, A minor, and D Locrian. And as you can see, my pages hates Locrian. That's why it has it underlined, and sometimes it'll always change it to Lorraine. So it's also the B Lorraine chord. And I didn't really play it, but obviously your B Locrian would be the B diminished, which would, sound that going back to C, leading into it. So, obviously that was just a B, D, and F. You can also play it doing, But as far, well, you can't see what I did, but if you're looking at the fretboard, you can just look where there's B, D, F, and there's your diminished scale. And obviously, you can do that for all your shapes. I mean, I haven't really spoke too much of triads, I don't think, but obviously it's usually, the root, the third, and the fifth, and you can just, in all of these, just kind of look. Just go to the third, go to the fifth of each, and figure out what triads would be in there. And obviously, that's where it comes into where the C the D minor, the E minor, the F major, the G major, the A minor, the B diminished, and the C in this scale, and you'll just look at all the different ways you can mix them up, or maybe even add a note or two, especially, as I said, with the chords, with G major, with C major, you have, with all the open notes, the freedom to just, even just take your finger off of one of the notes, have that open note be right in there, and make it fit. And you can do that anywhere up and down the neck. In this one, some might sound better than others, but if you just want to, go to that, or you find it's effective, you can definitely use that tactic in writing a song and getting, different varieties of chords in there from the ones that and might be a start to do it that way. And I kind of did that with B major the last time, to kind of, just keep that E and the B open, both E's. You can kind of, get a different sound from different chords. And I was mostly in that, just playing fives, in that, meaning power chords, with that open E and B in there. So it just added some, some spice, I guess, to some things. So, as we're getting, and you're getting more familiar with the different scales, and now we're kind of seeing some, relations finally between, the scales as we're getting more and more into them. We're getting more of them done, and more of these videos. It just gives you something to work on. And then, even though this one is a pretty straightforward scale, you can easily, do your own thing with it. And, obviously, it can be good for beginners, that E Phrygian. I'm a big fan of the Phrygian. As I said, before, with the Mel Bay book, you just learned... you just kind of learn the open notes going down the neck. I messed up there a little bit, but no big deal. You couldn't see. You could hear it though. But let's wrap it up there. Coming up is C sharp major and D flat major, which is going to be similar to the B minor, C flat major effect that we had going. So that one's going to be a little bit more complex. I'll keep this one simple. I won't say it was super simple, but yeah, with this, we definitely are coming along, definitely giving me things to work on. Hopefully, if anyone is watching this and working along with me, they'll do that too. Cool. Later on.